Scientists around the world agree planet Earth is heating up, perhaps faster than we thought. Small-scale farmers in developing nations are among the most vulnerable, according to the United Nations and global ecology experts. For more than 40 years, Juan Galicia and his family have been producing crops from these fields in the outskirts of Mexico City. He says 2024 started with one of the most devastating droughts this part of Mexico has seen in more than a decade.
The drought lasted nearly 3 months. That made it impossible to produce crops, but we had to take the risk and plant it during the drought. The impact was huge. We lost about 80% of the first harvest. 1 hectare should produce about 10 to 12 tons of broccoli, but we harvested only 2 tons of broccoli because of the drought.
But then came powerful storms and heavy rainfall. Fields that turned to dust earlier this year are now covered with water. Any vegetables left in these fields are now underwater and rotting, which means a second harvest this year has been completely devastated. Professor Gerardo Ceballos of Mexico's National Autonomous University has been studying the impact of climate change for decades.
These people already live in quite precarious conditions, and they end up in deeper poverty. Climate change is affecting the most vulnerable people on the planet first. Farmers stop producing, there is less food and more poverty, and they migrate to the cities.
Back in the fields, Juan Galicia steps out into his muddy land. He pulls up yet another rotting broccoli plant.
This second harvest is also a complete loss. The plants lose their roots and a fungus takes over. The entire harvest is also lost, this time because of too much water.
Galicia is one of more than 1,000 small-scale farmers in this part of Mexico who've suffered massive crop losses this year. They say the problem has been growing worse, leaving many of them with no other choice but to abandon their fields. Franc Contreras, CGTN, Mexico City.